Series, we are talking about the meaning of Guru in detail. And yesterday we discussed about the Eternal Master, the meaning of Eternal Master. Who is or what entity is this Eternal Master? We defined that the Eternal Master is the one who is the master of all masters. And this is the one who has been considered as the Guru, Sadguru, Nitya Anadi Sadguru in every or all the scriptures wherever we talk about in this world. Yesterday, we ended up at a question. How does this entity, the Eternal Master, the Nitya Anadi Sadguru, function? How does it do whatever? So the authority to the Eternal Master has to liberate the souls, to provide the salvation to the souls. But how? Who are the eligible one? How does it happen? So today we are going to discuss in a much more little bit detailed way how these things happen time to time. So how this Nitya Anadi Sadgurudev means Eternal Master functions? Does it function on its own, or there are different ways? What are those ways, or is there only one? Or what is the meaning of Sadguru? We are going to talk about today. So there are four types actually. Number one is the Eternal Master itself, the Nitya Anadi Sadguru, which has its own free manifestation in all the eras by its own wish and by wish of the Supreme Being. And it is parallel to the Supreme Being on its own. It exists as it is. Since beginning, there is no beginning, no end. So as it is, the Eternal Master. And it functions on its own from its own conscious zone. But sometimes the Eternal Master appears or comes from the abode of the liberation itself in one form to one place. Doesn't matter which place we are talking about, but to one place from its own abode itself. If that happens, then that particular Sadguru, that particular master is called axiomatic master, Swam Siddha Sadguru. And the objective to come is to teach the technique of spirituality, the technique of yoga to the most divine and eligible living being at that time point. That is one way, but it is very much momentary. Momentary means I'm not talking about 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. It can be for a few years, but the way it happens is through the axiomatic master. No one knows how that person, if it in terms of person appears, then how does it appear and where it goes, it doesn't, no one knows. It happens on the basis of how Eternal Master wants it to happen. The third one is master by practice. Abhyas Siddha Sadguru. As the name itself says, the master by practice. So what happens that there are infinite souls. And out of those infinite souls, there are some souls who are very, very special in terms of their own level, in terms of their own purity. And there are further going beyond that, there are free souls who have been already liberated, already done. But out of those all liberated souls, there are some, or in fact, rarest or rare soul is there, which further comes to this earth or the place to take the responsibility of that Eternal Master, to function with the help of Eternal Master's power. But to hold that power, that rare soul has to do a lot of practice to gain that particular power and be in a situation and position to sustain that power inside himself. That type of master who have gained all those things on the basis of their practice, that's why it is called master by practice, means Abhyasa Siddha Sadguru, is the one who is right now Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. This doesn't mean that only one time is there where such kind of master by practice is there. and different type points. We don't know right now, it has not been defined specifically as such in written form or somewhere, when exactly such kind of master by practice appear. There have been some examples of such masters by practice, but right now there is one such master by practice exist, and that is Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj practiced rigorous meditation for 17 years. 17 years. And this type of master by practice, meditates strenuously to achieve the highest abode and functions directly under the guidance of the Eternal Master. This entity engages further in the dissemination of the knowledge of spirituality, which actually originally being taught by Eternal Master or sometimes by axiomatic master. But once this master by practice, absorbs or attains that level to hold the power of Eternal Master, then the responsibility comes to this master to eradicate all the sufferings of the souls, to provide the supreme bliss, so that they can reach out to the supreme being or supreme conscious level. Further from there onward, the fourth type is the traditionally successor master or Parampara Sadguru. What is the meaning of this? This means this type of Sadguru, they carry forward the power of master by practice. So the master by practice has gained all that power, achieved that on the basis of his own practice. That means the power of the Eternal Master. But depending on the situation, depending on his own will, he may transmit that power to a successor. And if that type of master is there, who has attained or gained or absorbed that power from the master by practice into himself, then that type of master is called traditionally successor master, Parampara Sadguru. So right now, under the flag of Vihangam Yoga, right now, the current master, Sadguru Swatant Devji Maharaj, is the second successor. Before him, Sadguru Dhamchand Devji Maharaj was also there for 15 years. 15 years. So this traditionally successor master, the Parampara Sadguru, actually has the capability, the power to function under the guidance of the master by practice. That means right now, under the guidance of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. And again, the function is the same, disseminating the wisdom, the knowledge of the spirituality to the eligible souls, to eradicate the ignorance, the darkness. And all those eligible ones will be going to their original place with the help of this master. But one thing is very important here to remember and to learn and to realize also. The power is the same. Although we are talking about 4 different types of masters, 4 different types of Sadguru, but if you see, the commonality is only one power is functioning, and that power is the power of Eternal Master. So the Eternal Master, it has its own power, and then it comes in the form of axiomatic master. The power remains the same. And when it goes to the master by practice, again, the guidance comes from the Eternal Master itself, that entity itself. So even if we say it's the master by practice, we see in one form or different, the spiritual power remains the same of the Eternal Master. Similarly, the Parampara Sadguru, the fourth one, although they carry things parampara-wise, but I mean the success being a successor, traditionally successor, but the power remains the same. What is transferred? It's that power, the power of Eternal Master, which got transferred from one to another. And these are the 4 different ways on which basis the Eternal Master functions whenever it has to function. So the time period is quite large. We human are having a lifespan of maximum say 100 year, 80 year, 120 year, and that's it. We try to see things in that time span only, but time is much more beyond that. It is unimaginable. It is infinite from all the sides, this side and future, and in the past as well. So how does these entities work and function? If we try to imagine, probably we would just imagine on the basis of our own life, or maybe 100, 400, 500, 1,000 years before, and that's it. But in reality, it is much, much, much more beyond that also. So it's a way to experience things, not just in terms of listening and hearing it. Rather, all these entities are to be experienced at a level of soul. And once we reach to the level of soul, and once we get connected with the power of the Supreme Being, of the Supreme Eternal Master, then we would realize that all these are the same. We'll discuss more things tomorrow about the Master, Sadguru. Thank you very much for listening today.